It's never a dull conversation when you're talking to one of the NBA greats in today's game, and they'll be joining me in just 1 second. Hello, everyone. This is Jabbar Young, senior editor and writer here at Forbes. And in a minute, I'll be joined by Steph Curry, the Golden State Warriors legend, the great NBA champion. You call him what you want. You know, we just call him Steph. And we're going to talk about golf, his underrated golf tour, what he's doing to bring more diversity to the sport, wanting to become an NBA owner one day and what he sees in the business, the CBA, Chris Paul, all that and more. Steph Curry right now. Only hole in one I ever hit, man. I was playing gator golf with my 9-year-old daughter, right? And I was excited about that. But you knock out an ace at, Lake Tahoe. I mean, what was that like? What do you do when you hit a hole? I saw the celebration, but like the feeling had to be kind of abnormal.
No, it is. It was. I've been playing golf since I was like 10, so
Yeah.
that was only my second one, and to do it in that kind of venue in a tournament where you have, however many, like 2,000-3,000 people just on that hole, and it's on TV. Somebody's asking, is like a game winner a better feeling or a hole in one a better feeling? And it's like they're both great, but the hole in one is one you just don't expect. Just 'cause
Absolutely.
you get countless shots and you don't really ever expect it to go in. So to do it in that venue, end up winning that tournament, and sprinting 150 yards down that hole to celebrate, it was out of body experience, to say the least.
See, that's how you know you've hit enough game winners in your life. The fact that they don't even feel like we're anymore, right? The hole in one is way better because you've hit so many game winners. You think that's what it is?
Nah, it's just different. I'm never gonna complain about hitting too many game winners. So,
Absolutely.
hopefully I have a couple this coming season.
Yeah. Underrated, man. The underrated golf tour, and this is where you're here right now. Tell me a little bit more about this league and its mission. I mean, listen, we obviously know that you are a big golf fan. You play the sport. We were just talking about it, and you're also a proponent of, making sure that it's diverse. And this is where this league is going, right? How's the experience been thus far?
I mean, it's been great. I think, us being able to develop the underrated brand, and what it stands for, to kind of aid the next generation, especially like you said, from a representation diversity element, to achieve their highest potential. It started in basketball, and kind of a part of my journey, being a 3-star recruit coming out of high school and feeling underrated, overlooked, and just looking for an opportunity to showcase my skills. We developed our basketball tour. And obviously, like you said, me loving golf and understanding, some of the challenges, that the game of golf has, kind of created in terms of accessibility and representation within the game. The 3 stars, what you see on my hat, was a little different in golf. And so creating this tour was essential in terms of promoting equity, access, and opportunity in the game. And, getting the golf clubs in kids' hands at an earlier age, using golf as a vehicle to develop character skill sets, workforce skill sets, obviously confidence in terms of hopefully more representation on the professional tours. So it balances my two loves in basketball and golf, but again, creating opportunity within the game and just being a small part of these kids' journeys to try to reach their full potential, like that, to me is why this is all so exciting. And only in our second year with the golf tour, just getting started.
Yeah. When did the concept hit you? Like, take me back to that moment, man. Were you up at night? Were you playing some 2K? Like, when you said, you know what? When did that concept hit you where you were taking your two loves and obviously, putting your passion behind this brand, this tour? Take me back to that moment. When was it?
I mean, the seed was always in there in terms of looking at the next generation. How can I help? Right, the game of sports has always done so many amazing things for me. It's opened up so many doors, and I've been blessed to never really been in a position where it's not like I can't find a gym or I can't find a golf course to go play. But I know that's not a universal experience, and so the idea itself started out of an Under Armour All-America camp a select camp that I ran for about 4 years, and I kind of realized going into the planning of 1 year is like, when I was in high school, I wouldn't have been invited to my own camp because I wouldn't have a high enough rating. And we're looking at 4 and 5 star, athletes to come to the event. So I was like, well, how do we find, for lack of a better term, like looking for the next me in terms of the late bloomer, the underrated, overlooked athlete that's just running their own race and developing their work ethic, but has an innate confidence in themselves that they can compete with anybody. And so that was the original idea. Sitting in a restaurant with some of my close circle, like, let's figure out a way to make this happen. Having no idea how to create the tour and where to go from there, but that was the inspiration behind it. And you look up and found a way to align with the right partners and create an experience like we have these last 2 years.
Yeah.
It's beyond my wildest dreams of what the tour experience has been up until this point, and we have big dreams and vision of where to take it from here.
Yeah. Take me on the business side, man. I mean, listen, there's a whole bunch of ways, and I'm sure you can align with the PGA and what they're doing with the LIV, and I want to get your opinion on how you can do that and your advice to them on how they can bring more diversity to the sport. But the business side of underrated, right? What's involved in it? What do you have? What do you see as far as branding? I'm sure merchandising. Like, what are you seeing as far as how you're going to make money so you can also help grow the business and then use that money to use for operations to help find the golfers that you need?
It's the intersection of purpose and profit, in the sense of, like you said, we're trying to create experience and opportunity in golf is the North Star, right? That's the thing that's going to keep these kids front and center as to the why that we're doing this, and hopefully some amazing stories that come out of where these kids land. But you look at the world of golf, the business of golf, the ability to bring, again, amazing brand partners and sponsors to the event, where you're not just writing a check to support the tour. We're creating programming that can influence these kids in terms of workforce development and whatnot. And like you said, building a brand around that. It's playing the long game when it comes to that. So you can you look at how we are sponsoring this tournament to make sure, again, that we can take it across the country to the top class venues. From an apparel and product perspective, getting these kids all the resources they need to play this game at the highest level, to feel cool, feel comfortable, and be able to perform, and sustaining that part of the experience. Eventually taking it internationally, which is a great goal for us. In terms of this model, the underrated can reach the different regions around the world where golf is booming. So kind of tapping into all of those different elements, and also educating the kids as we go along of how it all works too. So they're as involved in terms of giving us feedback and coming up with ideas and kind of listening to their voice on what they see and what they want. So it's been great to be along that journey alongside of them. Obviously, working with KPMG as our presenting sponsor this year, all the different partners within my ecosystem that are coming to the forefront. So it's a lot, and I'm excited to see it's only the second year again, and we're off to the races.
Well, I'm going to need you to tell KPMG to drop some money on us, too. We got the Forbes BLK Summit, so we need some advertising, sponsorship money as well. But, listen, Steph, I'm glad you're doing this because, I remember when I was coming up and my uncle taught me about golf because we saw Tiger Woods obviously evolve, and that got a lot of people from where I'm from in North Philadelphia excited about golf, right? But there are some opportunities to get more kids in it. But, listen, it's expensive. Right? That's one of the reasons why you don't see a lot of kids, black kids, especially play hockey because of all the equipment that's needed. They'll put it in football, but hockey is the equipment, right? Baseball in some sense. How are you going to make sure that these kids, when they're introduced to the sport, can do their best to maintain playing it? Because, again, it is an expensive thing. Golf course memberships, all of it.
Yeah, I think that's there's some great programs and efforts to introduce the game to kids earlier, but where, to your point, where a lot of kids get left behind, I should say, compared to their white counterparts, is not having the ability to pay for travel to get around to around the country, coaching, equipment, apparel. Like you said, golf is an expensive game,
Yeah.
and part of the tour, like this is an all expenses paid experience from start to finish, from travel to hotels to every piece of apparel equipment they get when they're on the tour. So that's a non-negotiable in terms of how this tour is run, and for them to hopefully get a boost in terms of their ability to again compete in this vital age of between, we'll call it 11 and 17, when they're trying to be a part of different junior tournaments and get the rankings and the stars that build up the resume for recruiting, so that they can play college golf and obviously sports, allowing you to pursue higher education through scholarships, like all that stuff. We want to continue to meet them at that pivotal moment in their journey. So we've established our lane right there, and like I said, trying to develop this model so that we can reach increase the scale of how many kids we get to have access to. That's our goal, and I'm super motivated to see that to fruition, because we've already seen successes in terms of kids being able to crack Division I, Division II scholarships in golf, and that could propel and change their lives forever, and that's a generational thing as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's the perfect transition, right? You see PGA, you see LIV, you see the headlines around it. This sounds like the perfect pipeline to helping them identify those more, a more diverse group of golfers, right? Are you planning any partnerships, anything you're talking to them, or if not, what advice would you give them about how to do that?
So working with the PGA, obviously it's a passion in terms of, like you say, trying to participate in where the game of golf is going. Been working with Workday and Neil Bushry on his sponsorship of the Memorial Golf Tournament, and bringing my foundation, Eat, Learn, Play, as a part of that. And that's a way to kind of get some skin in the game on a big venue, a big event that is also doing great things in the community. But like you said, the landscape is changing, and it's hard. It's kind of unpredictable at this point to see where it will really go. I know there's been a lot of headlines and news over the last couple of years, obviously with the Live Golf Tour, PGA's new strategy to try to combat that and all that. But my whole goal is one, to continue to put our underrated kids on display, to know, like, again, North Stars, we want some LPGA, PGA golfers to come out of this program. But for me, it's just kind of keeping your antenna up on where the game is going, so that you can be positioned right to help these kids. They're the focus, and we'll react to see how that fits into the greater landscape of golf. But you just gotta participate, because there's so much opportunity out there, and we don't want to miss it.
Yeah, well, you're doing it, and you got to be saluted for that, man. So thank you for that. And listen, do you know that August is National Black Business Month? You do know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, August is National Black Business Month. I got to boost more awareness about that, man. We celebrate Black History Month, but National Black Business Month, that's for profit, right? That's a good thing. And you're a business owner yourself, right? Here you and your wife have businesses, and August is National Black Business Month. So I wanted to ask you, what's Steph Curry like in the business, in the boardroom? Like, what, you have to be different, a little bit than on the court, right? But what are you like in the boardroom when you're looking for those deals, or deals are put in front of you? What are you looking for? What's your demeanor?
I mean, it's actually kind of pretty similar to the personality, demeanor on the court. Like, a collaborator, right? In terms of being able to bring the best out of the teams that you're working with, and there's a competitive spirit in there as well.
Yeah,
there's no doubt about it. It might not be. I don't need to be the loudest one in the room. I don't need to be the one barking all day long, but you understand, you're thoughtful, you're intentional, disciplined in terms of building whatever entity, whatever business, whatever opportunity is put in front of you. You try to be a great partner, right? And everything that you do. That doesn't mean you kind of just uh, yesing all over the place, but it just means like you're trying to, elevate and bring value to any room that you walk into. But that competitive spirit is always a part of trying to win, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's the common theme from basketball to the boardroom, if you will, and hopefully setting up a great post basketball kind of career and different opportunities that I'm trying to develop now.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute, but I get hit up on LinkedIn a lot, man, and when people see that I do these interviews, they only ask me, "Hey, I got this product. Can we tell Steph about it? I got this. Can we tell LeBron?" And I'm like, "Dude, I can't just be giving these dudes this. I got a job." So I want you to tell them, man, if you have a black business out there, or even a business, I say black business because it is National Black Business Month, but you have a lot of young entrepreneurs who may have a lot of ideas, and who knows, they may have good product. If they see you, right, or if I have to relate a message, can you do it right now? What are 3 things that you want to see in their business plan that's going to give them get your attention?
3 things. I mean, obviously you got to be a good salesman, right? You got to be passionate. You got to be knowledgeable about what you're doing. Um, you know, being able to kind of present yourself, your idea, your business, again, in a thoughtful way, using the disciplined way. If you got that 30-second, elevator pitch, like, be on it, be sharp, be confident. It's obviously all about not necessarily the track record, but your industry knowledge of what space you're trying to come into, right? And I know for especially for a lot of black founders and startups and black CEOs, like, you might not necessarily have the access to other great minds within that space, but you're knowledgeable about who you're going after and what you're going after. And I think that's a big piece of understanding, whatever business that you're trying to make successful. Like, there's probably some model that you kind of draft off of and understand, like, what the learnings need to be, and present yourself in the best way that way. Obviously, being able to understand budgeting and how to properly roadmap your company or your plan in a thoughtful way that's aggressive but appropriate, right?
You can be aggressive. Listen, you want my money, show me how you're going to double it, right? Flip my money for me, right? Tell me your economic moat. How are you going to double this money, right?
And understand the scalability of the business. So
yeah.
I mean, you can kind of feel when somebody's checking off as many of those boxes as possible, and when they're not. But you got to get reps too. Like, that's the thing. Like, don't be afraid of putting yourself out there, because you don't know. You can get 800 no's, but they're just looking for that one yes, right? And continue to putting yourself out there is the most important thing. But yeah.
Well, you're on LinkedIn, right?
I am on LinkedIn.
Tell him to send him your way. Stop asking me. Just go you go ask him yourself. You blow up his DM. Don't ask me. You can do it your way. But absolutely. Hey, listen, you go back. If there any business that you're proud of, maybe one that you invested in earlier in your career, whether it be black business or not, that you can say back and say, hey, you know what? I'm proud of that. Y'all may not know about this business, but I'm very proud that I put my money in it and I got a good return.
First one that comes to mind, I'd probably say Guild Education. It's a software company that's promoting education within the workforce, and in terms of incentivizing companies to send their employees for further education and figuring out pathways and models that can help them accomplish that goal, while also fulfilling their obligations and their job duties. And that's obviously kind of a halo effect on not just the personal development, but also for companies to incentivize, professional development. So it's an amazing CEO, amazing kind of story, and they've had some amazing success. Not many people might know about it, but that's definitely one that I'm extremely proud of.
Yeah, that's why I want you to put them on the map, man. Definitely put them on. I have to check that out myself. Thank you for that. But listen, I want you to go to play some golf. So let me put you on the court right now, right? Go on some on the court business. everybody's talking about your new teammate, Chris Paul, man. Is there anything that you haven't been asked about him yet?
That I haven't been asked? Well, probably that one viral clip of him fake laughing at Steve Kerr when we were playing against I was on the court obviously, but I would love to know what Steve said that wasn't so funny.
So y'all got to get in the room and see what that is before y'all take the court together.
Absolutely, we do.
Yeah. How's it going to work, though, man? Like, I mean, listen, I've covered the Spurs for 5 years stuff. I remember you out there. I still was there with that series with the Kawhi Zaza thing. You remember that, right? I was right there. Me, Marcus Thompson, Mark Spears, we was all right there. Monty Poole, we was all there covering that, man. And so we talked to a lot of scouts. I haven't made any calls and any scouts about this particular partnership, right? But you played enough basketball, won enough championships. I'm going to ask you right now, how's it going to work?
Basketball IQ and motivation, right? Like we love winning, and any team that CP's been on, he's elevated.
Yeah,
there's a strong track record there. Everybody's going to talk about our age and the washed up mentality of how long we've been doing this, but there's a know-how to win. There's a high level of intelligence on putting the pieces together. To your question, like there is a lot of unknown of what it's going to look like and how rotations are going to be and all that. But for us, like as long as it sounds so cliche, but it's the way that you win, right? As long as everybody's coming with the mentality of, okay, everybody's important, everybody's going to have a part in us winning at the highest level. Who cares what it looks like? If we can answer that question, then I think from top to bottom, we're an incredibly strong team that's going to be a threat out there. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the challenge. I love the fact that even at this stage, just the surprises that the NBA can throw at you from year to year.
Yeah.
We're right in the mix of it. So it's going to be fun, man. It's going to be an amazing year. Like whatever happens, I know it's not going to be because of a lack of effort.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, you said age, right? On this particular question, this may not favor you as much, but the new CBA, there's already narrative out there that it didn't favor the players. And, you can go back and forth. No CBA ever favors players or management. You always go back and forth. Is there anything in there that you don't like?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, we always want more basketball related income. We always want more percentage of that. We want a bigger piece of the pie. So, that's always going to, like you said, that's always going to be a part of the conversation for the next CBA and whatnot. I do know, like from a luxury tax perspective, like the one thing that, our franchise has done extremely well is we've drafted well, we've developed well, and me, Clay, Draymond, our core, we've been, under one roof for our entire careers. There's that conversation around what that tax structure looks like that, can, I don't know if you could say disadvantage the team that's in that position, but that's kind of how it is. And at the end of the day, it's always going to evolve. And like you said, it's more of a narrative thing on who's going to win that PR battle of who won and lost. But at the end of the day, players as a whole, we're in a pretty solid position, and I think the future looks something like being able to look at like ownership while you're playing and trying to figure out how you can go, kind of carve out a piece of the valuations that franchises are going through the roof. Like, how can we participate in that? That's probably the next frontier that we want to try to approach.
Yeah, ownership in your future.
I hope so.
NBA.
Oh, I hope so for sure.
Why do you want to be a team owner like that? And how would you run this differently than what you see doing it today?
I don't know the answer to that question because, there's going to be a time and place where you're still, obviously doing diligence and understanding what that landscape looks like and what ownership actually entails. Not just the stuff that you see from interviews or comments from the media, whatever the case is, but like what it really means to own a team and decisions that you're making on a daily basis and how you actually build a culture and a brand. but every situation is different, right? It depends on what city you're in, what's the state of the team, what's, the the challenges of whatever group that you're leading. So there's a lot of open-endedness, as I said, with that question. But at the end of the day, like, being motivated to be an owner is all about controlling a winning organization. Like, there's no better thrill than winning when you can include that with obviously making money, with running a great organization from top down, and creating great opportunity through that. Like, that's what gets you excited about it. So I know I can't own a team until I'm done playing. So we hopefully got a long time before I can get into that.
Absolutely. Well, two rapid things I get you out of here, man. These have to be rapid, right? The first one is, what's one thing, and this is for our Forbes BLK community here, and they ask questions, and I say, hey, what do y'all want me to ask people? This is one of them. What's one thing that people would not know about you? And Steph, we know a lot about you, but what's that one thing that you're still holding on to that people may not know?
Probably I love karaoke.
Karaoke. I take it. I take that. Your favorite song when you sing it?
So Sick by Neo.
There you go. And listen, hip-hop turns 50 this year, right? And so I got to get you out of here on this because I love hip-hop. I'm sure you do. Top 5, dead or alive?
Drake, Andre 3000, Lupe Fiasco, Tupac, and Jay-Z.
And Jay-Z. There you go. Hey, Steph, man, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations to the Underrated brand. Much success to it, man. Let's do it again when you're ready to talk more about the business and growing the brand, and go out there and enjoy some golf.
Appreciate you. Thanks for the time.
No problem, man.